Yo, welcome back to the Paulie Z show. And this is your host, Paulie Z. What a coincidence. So this is episode number 41. And today is a good day because I have a guest in the studio with me, which you guys know is always my favorite. That's the best way to do an interview, is having someone in front of you so you can basically, feed off of their energy, and I get to look into their eyes and glamour them like Bill Compton on True Blood. I'm going to glamour my guest today. So who is my guest, you might be asking? All right, well, he is probably most well-known for being a professional wrestler, also an actor, and actor, wrestler, and now comic book hero, of all things. He has his own comic book coming out, and a bunch of other things, but, the main thing is the wrestling. That's how I knew him, and he'll tell us more about what he does. I'm talking about Mr. Brimstone. How you doing, Brimstone?
I'm doing quite fine. How about yourself?
I'm good. Did I intro you properly, or did I miss a couple things? I probably missed some stuff.
It's okay. You were fantastic.
Are you like a dancer, ballet dancer, construction worker?
Yes. Dancing with the Stars is waiting for me to sign up.
Astronaut. Like, what else do you do?
It's grave digger.
Digger.
Secretary.
Secretary, there you go.
Is a good thing. Ice cream man.
Ice cream man. See, yes. So I've told you, he's basically an entrepreneur. He does it all. So wait, but tell everybody real quick about, give you the brief history of Brimstone.
I've been a professional wrestler for about 14 years. Did the independent and professional circuit for a very long time. I have numerous students that have gone on to bigger and better things, WWE, TNA, and Japan, and so forth. And, ever since I was younger, I was always into being an entrepreneur, always into entertainment. And, I always felt whatever I was going to do as far as professional wrestling was concerned, I said, it has to be marketable, it has to be memorable, and it has to become a brand. So what I've been doing is I've been continuously branding the name, as I'm sure you know, because Paulie Z is a brand in itself. So
it is a brand. It is a brand of nuts, goofiness.
Well, but it's a brand nonetheless. All the way down to the little head you make on the emails, which is fantastic. So basically the whole Brimstone name, we've gone crazy with it. Everything from a clothing line that's in the works called Brimwear, my autobiography that's going to be coming out hopefully by the end of the year, beginning of next year.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Brimstone.
Yes.
Webster defines brimstone as what?
Sulfur.
Okay, and why would you be a sulfur wrestler?
Fire and brimstone, dude. It's just a cool name. And as far as professional wrestling is concerned, most of the time they come out and with hellfire and brimstone, it's just so common with professional wrestling. And nobody ever used it, which was crazy because I did my research before I took the name. So I am the original Brimstone. And, there have been people who've tried to use the name afterwards, whether they put something before it or something after it. I am the original Brimstone. And yes, it is now a branded name. So
did it come from
beware.
that? From Hellfire and Brimstone, sort of? Is that
somewhat? I mean, when I was coming up with names, it's just as hard to come up with a professional wrestling name as it is to come up with a band name. It is a pain in the rear end.
I had to do that on Z-Rock.
Exactly.
Did you see that episode where we were wrestlers?
No, I didn't see that. No, I'm sorry.
You didn't see that episode?
I'm sorry. I'm going to have to watch it.
Dude, you have to watch it. First of all,
will.
Chris Jericho is on it.
That's awesome.
And we basically, the quick story is... We're doing like this Make-A-Wish Foundation thing,
right?
And Chris Jericho is like the guest appearance, and they wanted us to dress up as wrestlers. And Joey's a big wrestling fan, which is true in real life too. All three of us are, and so he's like, "This is my dream come true. I'm gonna, we got to make great costumes. We got to do this for real." So we actually came up with our own characters, and we had wardrobe made us really cool costumes and everything. And I was awesome. So Joey was Joey-licious, too sweet to be beat. And David was what was David's name? Is something that shit. I forgot what his name is. It was something David, like
Super Gay David?
No, not Super Gay David. That would have been a better name though. But but his move was the pump and dump. So there you go.
Pump and dump.
And Joey's was the garlic knot, which is where he would put your head in his underarm.
Please tell me he shaved first.
Oh, he doesn't shave.
That's disgusting. That's just nasty. Look,
Me
I
and
am
David
I am as manly of a man as you get, and I will shave my pits because it is nasty to have that big
I
puff
agree.
of hair under there, and then you're gonna stick someone's face
I
under
agree.
there.
Well, that's the
No,
move.
That's just wrong.
Well, me and Dave shave. Yeah, I can't stand armpit hair. But and then my character. Now I want you to tell me on a scale of 1 to 10.
Okay.
How decent, how good this character name is. Okay.
Don't be mad at me if I don't like it.
No, I won't. I won't. But knowing me and what I love, and I used a little bit of alliteration. Pulled pork Paulie.
That's pretty funny.
Ah.
I like it.
All right. What do I get? What's my score?
I'll give you an 8.5.
I like it.
An
And
8.5.
Eight's my lucky number too. my
finishing
move.
move.
Oh, it was the. I don't even remember the name of it, but it was shit. Hold on.
I guess you could curse on your show.
Yeah, you can curse. But it was the thing as basically I pull the pork right out of you. Like I would. When you're like all dazed, I'd put my hand on your stomach and I'd like kind of pull your intestines out, but I'd have like fake sausage with me. So I'd pull the sausage out. It was the, I forgot what it was called. It was like the pork roll or something like that.
Comical as it may be, it's actually a gimmick, so I like it.
Yes. That's the
what
whole
it is.
thing. Yeah.
I have to. I am a gimmick guy. You have to have a gimmick. The only gimmick that has come out in the last God knows how many years from WWE has been the Boogeyman, and he's not even there anymore. That was the best gimmick they've had in the last couple of years. And something similar, instead of pulling the sausage, even though I think that's fantastic.
You like that, huh?
He actually pulled night crawlers out of his groin and put them into his opponent's mouth. It was pretty disgusting. And that's nasty.
That is nasty.
That's nasty.
Well, and I even had a mascot. Like, remember the British Bulldogs had Matilda?
Uh-huh.
I had a pig, but the pig was called Brisket. So that was the gimmick. Is that I was like, but isn't brisket beef? I was like, yeah. So
Doesn't matter. It's meat. Meat is meat.
I got to show you the picture. All right. So anyway, so what is your gimmick with Brimstone? Like, what do you do?
Brimstone's a man from hell. You know what I mean? He's a guy from hell. What do you call it? Now it's kind of merged into, all right, well, Brimstone is me. So, it's kind of hard to decipher. You know, I'm really not a guy from hell. I'm a Jewish guy from Long Island. So,
Totally. Well, if someone worked for you, then maybe they would disagree.
But what do you call it? You know, the background of Brimstone, like I said, he's a guy from hell, and he protects the borders of hell. It's like one of those type of things where he'll, like, my finishing move is called Zabulba, which is the entrance to hell. Okay,
do you need
Gesundheit.
Do you need a tissue? Who?
Zabulba.
Okay, is that like? Is that a real word?
Yes, it's actually from Mayan mythology. So, Mayan mythology, Zabulba is the head of the houses of hell. So, which is funny because a few years after I come across the information on the Mayan history and so forth, Strangeland came out. You know D. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Strangeland came out.
Do I know D?
I know you know D.
I know D. I got his home phone number. I will never use it again.
Uh-oh.
You know what happened?
No, I'm going to have to ask you about that.
Oh, I'll tell you real quick. He was on the podcast recently, and I had a few numbers for him that he gave me.
Right.
One of them, I called his office number, which is in his home.
Right.
He wasn't picking up, and it was like, the time for the interview. So I'm like, all right, let me try again. Give him a few minutes. Wasn't picking up. So I'm like, I have another number here. It's the same area code. Let me try that number. And Suzette picks up. Uh-huh. And she knows, the whole family knows. Hey, Paulie, how you doing? Hold on, I'll get D in a second. He's just busy. Hold on. Hey, D, it's Paulie. And D's like, he goes, how'd you get this number? I said, you gave it to me. He goes, don't ever call this number again. This is my house phone. And he goes, call me back on the other number. And then he like chewed me out.
Really?
Yeah.
You should have said, I'm friends with your sons.
Yeah. No, he knows, but he just was something. I guess he was just sort of shocked that I had that number, the house number.
Right.
And then he told me the story of how he did the same thing to Gene Simmons. Gene gave him his number. He called Gene one day, and then Gene's like, how'd you get this number? Don't ever call this number again. He goes, Gene, it's D. So he apologized. He goes, I didn't mean to chew your head off. He goes, but I get very protective.
Of course.
Yeah, but I'm like, you gave me the number.
Paulie, you can call me at home whenever you'd like.
Oh, see, thank you very
Of course,
much.
I'm not D and Gene, but you can call me whenever you'd like.
Well, I appreciate it. So, okay, go ahead. So Strangeland comes out.
Strangeland comes out, and actually the name of the club is Zabulba.
Oh.
Yeah, so, which is funny, and he says it in there, it's the entrance to hell. So Although Dee and I had never spoken about it, I'm assuming that, he got it from my mythology as well. And it just fit, Brimstone, Zabalba, the Guardian of Hell, so forth.
What is the move now?
So the move is I actually will take the opponent, I'll put him up onto the top ropes. I grab his wrists, spin around, so now my back's towards him, and I throw him over my head, and I sit out with it, and he lands. I put my leg over, and it's 1, 2, 3.
So you pull him over your head, so now he's laying on his back, right?
Head, so he's flying over my head.
But you stay on the ropes.
No, I'm not on the ropes.
You go with
I'm standing up.
Standing, okay.
I throw him over my shoulders. He comes down. He comes in between my legs.
And then
I'm sitting out with it. So he comes down. I sit out with it, and then I put my leg over for the 1, 2, 3. You can look it up online. I'm sure you'll find it.
Do you want to try it with me now?
If you want, you'll be heard. But
I convinced Chris Jericho to body slam me on set.
Are you serious?
He didn't want to do it.
No, you really.
He did it. He did it though. No, he did it.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, well, because
you probably needled the crap out of him.
Yes, I was just gonna say I get what I want all the time, and it's most of the time just to shut me up.
Well, you're dazzling me right now. So
I'm glamoring.
Glamoring.
Oh, you will put the finishing move on me.
You don't want to take the finishing move. After we're off, I'll put it online for you. You're not going to want the finishing move.
I don't want that. Okay.
No.
So, all right. So then now, why did you go through? Just out of curiosity, why did you go through the whole hell thing? I mean, it can be argued that can be, maybe it's overplayed. It's like, oh, an obvious choice. What made you go down that route, and how do you feel like you made it different than anybody else?
Well, a lot of it's kind of. Give me a second here. I'm just trying to, because finally I'm getting a new question. I never got this question before.
Well, but you're on the Paulie Z show.
In 14 years, I gotta say I'm impressed, because it's a question that I haven't had to answer before. So
you're gonna get a lot of questions. Like you're gonna get like, okay, what do you like onions in your meatballs or not? You know what I mean?
Well, that's fine.
Yeah.
Well, basically, yes, the hell thing could be said that it's overplayed, but it's also who does it well and who doesn't do it well, and I'm pretty sure I do it pretty damn well. The reason for me picking a guy from hell as opposed to picking a wannabe pretty boy, because I was a lot thinner, obviously, when I started out. But when I didn't want to do the whole pretty boy thing, because pretty boys get their asses kicked on a regular basis. I wanted to be the guy that went in and was the enforcer, beat the crap out of somebody, and took off. So coming up with a stronger name, a stronger gimmick, and the guy from hell, I was pretty much able to do that with my entire persona. I was able to come in, get the crowd behind me, which was funny because I was an anti-hero. You were the bad guy, right? I was a bad guy, but technically they made me into a good guy. It's kind of like the whole Stone Cold Steve Austin thing. And, I'd come in, I'd wreak havoc, they'd like it, and I'd leave, So, as to where the guys, when they're, the happy-go-lucky, like a Shawn Michaels type of character, who there's just so many Shawn Michaels, you know what I mean? There can only be one Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels still gets his rear end kicked, even though he comes out on top at the end. It took him a long time to get to that place because of, his character. It's not, a big, strong guy.
Like The Undertaker is a good example of like someone who's like, it's hard to see him write it in that he's getting his butt whipped,
right. Undertaker very rarely gets his ass kicked.
Yeah.
So do you want to be the guy that's going to be getting tossed around, or do you want to be the guy who's doing the tossing?
See,
I'd like to be the guy doing the tossing.
See, I like to be the guy tossed around.
No, let me tell you something, my friend. I'm damn near 300 pounds. You don't want me landing on top of you.
No, but I just, even when I used to play wrestle with my brothers or my friends back in the day, we'd make like a room in the living room, move the couch and stuff, and we'd play wrestle. It would be fake moves, and I don't know, for some reason I always liked. I liked, getting hurt. And like body slamming and do it. I was, someone's got to do it. And I was always into like being the guy that got beat up a little bit.
Have you ever slept with a woman who's over 300 pounds?
No.
Okay, well,
maybe there you go.
That could kind of put it in perspective when you're getting dropped on. And I have nothing bad. I'm a big guy. I'm a large guy. I just did an interview for Large in Charge, so I'm a very big, heavy set supporter. But it's kind of like, all right, you're in the ring with somebody who's like 300 pounds. It's kind of like, if you've never been in the ring, you could say, well, have you slept with somebody that's that big? And I'm assuming you haven't slept with men because you're pretty, manly type of man. Well, I don't know. I've seen you on stage. But,
whoa, hey, whoa.
Oh, no,
whoa.
I'm just kidding. But, it's kind of like a similar type of thing. If you
I think it's fun. Like, I don't know. I always thought it was kind of fun, like being, playing, because I love the way they play it up too. Like, like you kick them in the head and they're like, I know, it's always cool.
But a lot of things happen. People do get hurt, and you get serious injuries. I mean,
well, I'm saying that aside. I mean, I'm talking
True.
Theoretically, like that aside.
It's
like I think my character, like Pulled Pork Paulie, wouldn't be so menacing. He'd be much more. It'd be more, I see myself more as a Roddy Piper. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Then it would be like
Absolutely. It would be a lot of fun.
Yes, I'd be more of a fun character.
Absolutely.
So then when I lose a match,
get creams like corn.
Yeah, I lose a match and then I eat a tub of like cookies and cream ice cream in the corner.
But bring over the bananas and the chocolate syrup.
Yeah, or I have
hot
like
fudge.
I'll get like a chef to be like my manager.
That's
like
hot.
Bobby Heenan.
Oh,
Instead
man.
of like. So all right, well, talk to us now about what's coming out now. You have a comic book about your character, right? You've personified Brimstone into like this ripped, like freaking. Have you ever been that ripped?
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
has anyone ever been?
I don't think anybody, even the guys in the WWE, aren't that ripped.
Jesus Christ!
I love my penciler. Sajad Shah is absolutely fantastic, and he makes me look good.
Yeah.
So it's funny because whenever I do signings at conventions and so forth, and I've had before the comic was ready to go, I've had artwork out so that people could get signatures and so forth, and I'm looking at it, I'm like. They're like, this is supposed to be you? I was like, screw you.
or I can imagine it now. There's a line of people on Brimstone sitting there, and everyone's like, and they're like, why isn't the line, when's Brimstone getting here? It's like he's right there. He goes, where? Right there.
It has happened, but he's made me look so damn good that I'm sitting here going, all right, well.
Is he coming? I'm right here. No, really, is he coming?
But I love the way he did the pencils for the comic, and it's been a long time coming. It's been in the works for a while, and
I'm surprised it even took this long. I would think that was perfect idea for a comic book.
The problem is you have to find the proper teammates, the proper people to come through on their end, and we're like the Spinal Tap of comic books. Our team has gone through so many different changes as far as colorists were concerned. There's for a comic book, there's different. You have to write it first. You have to have the concept, then you write it, then it's penciled out, it's drawn, then it's inked so that it can be colored. So
right.
It's a full process, and after it's completely colored, then it's being lettered, which is everything that takes place in the comic book, what you're actually reading. So it's like it comes full circle. Especially the fact that our team is not only in the United States but out in Brazil as well. So it takes time for it to go around to everybody, get everything taken care of. Technically, we could get it done in 30 days, but we were having a problem with finding a colorist who was going to do the job the way we wanted it done.
Right.
And like I said, we are a team, so we had a ton of different colorists who applied to work with us, and problem was that nobody really was up to par, or when we said we like them, they didn't get the job done. They would start it, then stop. And so you have to
right. All right. No, I was just wondering, but is this an idea you've had for a long time? That's what I mean.
Yes. I've had the idea for a very long time. I actually got the first actual comic book drawing of Brimstone from Jacob Chabot, who was with us. He does Skullboy Army from Dark Horse Comics. So when he sent that to me, that kind of inspired me to move forward and be like, hey, we need to do something with this.
Well, why don't we get? I think we have one of your teammates holding on the line now, right?
Fantastic.
Who is this now?
My writer, Marcello Carnevale.
So he's the guy that's writing the stories,
yes, and the concept
and everything.
Correct.
All right, let's see if we get him on the line right now. Marcello, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, guys. What's up?
There he is. There he is. So
how's it going?
It's going good. I'm here with your buddy Brimstone, and we're talking a little bit about the comic. And he said you could shed a little bit more light on what we can expect from this comic book. Where and I have to say that the Brimstone character, looks remarkably very close to the real Brimstone in real life. It's amazing how the.
Have you noticed that every goddamn show we do, I get ripped on?
The artist-based Brimstone's character, he took all the features of Brimstone, the long flowing locks, that impressive jawline of his, and then he just put it on my body. So then it just really came together, and it actually looks pretty good. I mean, honestly, I'm not as small as Brimstone is, So in the comic book, but I let that slide. It was okay.
So what is the storyline of this now?
Well, the entire Brimstones and the Borderhound comic revolves around, obviously, Brimstone and his team. And, in kind of almost a little bit of a social commentary, in today's society, Brimstone and the Borderhounds are border enforcement agents for a realm of the afterlife. And in our universe, the afterlife is not really heaven or hell as, the Judeo-Christian version of it, but just another realm of existence where what happens to a person when they die, and hell just happens to be one of those places. And if you're unlucky enough to end up there, you're in a really bad way. But sometimes some people escape and try and leave and try and get out, or try and jump the border, so to speak. So Brimstone and his team are the ones that are tasked to get all these people back and to keep the unwanted element out. And
so it's almost like a cartoon adaptation of Mexico.
Kind of.
Yeah. Well, a little bit more of a social commentary. I'm not saying that Mexico is hell. No, I'm not saying.
It
honestly depends on where in Mexico you go.
Is there a tourist area to this hell of yours? Like, can I go down to?
I want to drink the worm.
Well, if you go to Mexico and you drink the water, you'll get an idea of what it's like to be there. But it's a really cool concept. Brim and I spent a couple years kind of perfecting the whole universe surrounding it, and we have a really, really cool story arc lined up, and plenty more where that came from. And we're really looking for it to be a big, huge success in the comic book industry, and hopefully maybe branch out into other mediums. We don't know. We're going to see how successful we are now, and we got big things coming.
We actually do have, I don't know if I let you know, Paulie, but we actually have a video game in production as well with SGN Games for Xbox Live, as well as they're working on getting the okay for the PS3. So
nice.
Yeah, so
what about wait? More important for me,
yes,
because this is what I live for.
Yes,
is there going to be an action figure?
Working on it.
Yes,
working on it.
I am an action figure whore, and I love action figures. I just stopped collecting because of financial, you know what I mean? Like, it gets to the point where it's like you just can't afford it. No, it's too many. But I love, and that's like my dream before I die. Like, I don't think I'll die happy unless I get an action figure made.
You should see Marcella's action figure closet.
Oh yeah, Marcella, what do you collect?
Well, I still have a lot of like my old action figures from when I was a kid. So I've got a lot of G.I. Joe, He-Man, Transformers, a few robots. Some Thundercat figures.
That's what I got. Yeah, that's more of what I got too. And then like once McFarlane sort of like opened it up, I tried to keep up with it, but then it was like it was just too much, and it got too expensive.
There's too many things coming out. There's too many. There's too many different versions. I mean, now that all of us kids from the 80s are all grown up now and still want a little bit of piece of that childhood we have, they've been putting out all these rehashes of our beloved comic and cartoon stars, and it just, I don't know, it just doesn't have the same flavor.
No, definitely not. No, it's like I don't want my Masters of the Universe standing up straight. I want him in that horse position.
Yeah. And once it was changing the body type of all the figures, I mean, it used to be where you could just take the head off He-Man and put it on any other action figure, and you had a whole new action figure.
Exactly.
That's true.
And dude, I had a major crush on Tila. Tila's Tila's my girl. Tila, if I can make Tila real, oh man.
I think Tila gave me my first full-on robot chubby.
There you go.
Yeah.
Jinx, you owe me a beer.
You know what kills me? It's like Seth Green and the guys who are doing Robot Chicken.
Love that show.
Oh, I mean, that's the perfect show. And it's like, that's the kind of thing that I thought about years ago. Like, as a kid, I always thought, like, if my action figures could come to life and if I can,
Yeah, I did that with my
He's living our dream, man. He's living our dream.
He is living everybody's dream, yeah.
He's exactly from our generation, and he got paid from a really early age. So you actually should see, I've seen pictures of Seth Green's comic and action figure collection, and I'm very jealous. His action figure collection is vast.
Wow, I can
And
imagine.
he displays it very proudly. And he's got this gorgeous wife, and they all both live together. And he's got this huge room with all of his action figures set up. So yeah, Seth Green is a big idol.
Yeah, Seth Green is Seth Green for president. Damn it!
I have an office.
Yeah,
full
he's
of
the
Brimstone
pinnacle of
pictures.
geekdom, man. He's
is.
a geek who became rich and famous and does a show that every kid fantasized to do. And he's married to a really hot chick. So I mean,
That's the American dream right there.
Yeah, it is, seriously. And if we do an action figure line of Brimstone, it's going to be okay because, they've already used my body for Brimstone's archetype, so then they have to use the lower regions as well. So I don't know if they're going to have enough plastic to fit the mold.
Wow.
So
Listen, just because
we'll
I'm
have to
Jewish
see about
doesn't mean I
that.
have a small penis.
Yeah, see, lucky for me, I'm half Jewish and half Colombian, so
I'm half Jewish and half Italian. So.
Oh, nice. Oh, you like me? Cool. Yeah, see, but what half is what? See, my upper half is Jewish, my lower half is Colombian.
Does that mean?
Oh, well, I'm black from the waist down.
You're black from the waist down?
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, Marcel, thank you so much for giving us a little bit of insight as to what we can expect
All
with the
right.
comic.
Thank you so much for having us, and stay tuned for the book. And hopefully, when the book is out and everything like that, we can talk to you guys again and get your take on it. And we really appreciate all the support you guys have been giving us.
Oh, you got it, man. It's our pleasure.
All right, take care.
You good?
Later. So look at that, half Jewish, half Italian. So that's, because I don't mean a lot, I meet a lot of people that are either full Jewish or they're half Jewish and something that's like similar to Jewish, you know what I mean, like Russian or Polish, whatever. But like when I tell people I'm half Jewish, half Colombian, everyone's like, really? Oh, that's cool. It's like a nice mix.
My wife is Jewish Puerto Rican.
Oh, there you go.
She's a Jew-Rican, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a Jew-Lumbian.
She beats the crap out of me and makes me feel bad about it.
Yep, exactly.
That's the way it is. She cuts me. She cuts me. No, I'm just kidding. She cuts me. Yeah, no. So, yeah. Marcello's fantastic.
So that's great. So you have a good team with you, and everything's good. And I can't wait to see the. But you know what you should do? You should do the Brimstone action figure, right? And then you should have like the exclusive that you have to mail order. That's the real Brimstone, the one that looks like you, like the realistic one.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I wouldn't want that out on shelves.
No, why not?
I'm just kidding.
Why not? That's cool. That's like, I love when they do that. Like when they have like the realistic. They've done that with didn't Seth MacFarlane? Todd McFarlane. Didn't he do one of himself at one point?
You know what? I think he might have. And I did a convention in Jersey, and I met one of the guys from McFarlane Toys. I'm going to actually call him and ask him about that. That's a good question.
I think he did. See, I'm full of good questions.
That's a good question. I actually, what's funny is we're going to be working on hopefully getting the toy line out for the Border Hounds. But I also have been hearing rumors because you know that I did the film Killer Hoo-Ha, right? Or if you didn't, you do now.
I do. Yes, I did.
So if anybody listens to the Howard Stern show, they've been talking about it like nonstop because a couple of the guys from the Stern show were in the film as well. But
is this out?
It's going to be out. From what I hear, it's going to be out in October.
Okay.
We filmed it last October. It's taken forever and a day to get it out. Apparently, what do you call it? I Am the Killer and Killer Hoo-Ha. So they were considering doing a toy line with just the killer, so they would have me in the Killer Hoo-Ha outfit as a toy as well, which would be totally awesome because then I could be Brimstone and the killer from Killer Hoo-Ha, and I can make them fight each other.
That's right.
Awesome.
That's right.
That'd be awesome.
Well, see, if I have my action figure, I'm gonna have Paulie Z, the rocker.
Right, which you
the
could
rock,
do.
Yeah, I'd have the Paulie Z, the rock star Paulie Z, and then I'd have the Paulie Z, the kid star, and they could fight. It'd be the same action figure, but just different clothes.
Well, see now, see the thing.
Yeah.
I actually have a couple of companies that you can pitch your toy line to, the kids' toy line.
Really?
Yeah, because you do a lot of stuff with kids, right? Now I'm interviewing you.
Oh, yes. Actually, I was born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, and I was. Yeah, we do. Now more so because of the TV show that now that the TV show has been out there, and we kind of like before Z-Rock, we kind of, I don't want to say hid, but we were much more discreet about the fact that we worked with kids. It was like there was no, we didn't want it to like kill our image, or we didn't know how people would take to it.
I do a lot of things with kids also.
But you
PC
also
kid things.
Yeah,
don't get the wrong idea, people.
but but what I'm saying is but it's different when you're on you? I mean, look, as
I'm a
Brimstone,
guy from hell, dude.
Yeah, well, that's what I was just going to ask you. When you first started, though,
Right.
you were doing stuff with kids and it was public knowledge?
I do a lot of talks in schools, specifically in elementary schools, to speak out against bullying and talking down on one another. So I actually, yeah, and I'm proud to say that.
But that's different. That's you coming in. That's almost, I don't know how to explain it, but that's you coming in. It's more educational. It's different than what we're doing,
Well,
which
what are you
is.
doing? Like the Wiggles?
Yes.
That's awesome.
But that's what I'm saying. But it can.
I have kids, so you know.
Yeah. Oh, which I'll get you. How old are your kids?
My daughter is 13. My son is 9, and my daughter was born 10 days ago. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, which by the way, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Totally
when this comes out, I guess it's 20 days.
Yeah, exactly, something like that. About a week behind. But well, when I mean, obviously she's too young now. But like when she's around 2, 3, 4 in that range, that's what we specialize in, right?
So that's awesome.
It is. Trust me.
So why would you be,
bad advice? That's all I'm going to say.
Listen.
And we're not that.
Okay.
That's all we can say. Yes.
We'll talk about it another time.
Yes, we could talk about it off the air. Just certain people that we were working with thought it wasn't a good idea, and we said okay, and we trust it. And then now in retrospect, I believe it was a mistake. And now we're trying to get back, and we're like, okay, you know what? Now our new model is, this is what we do. This is what makes us different. This is our gimmick.
Right.
Like you said, it's a gimmick.
It's a gimmick. Look,
that's our gimmick.
The ZO2 thing is you guys are wild, you guys are crazy, you guys have fun on stage.
Yeah.
And
we're sexual beasts.
Exactly. But you're not sexual beasts around children. However,
on stage with the Rock. No, ZO2.
ZO2. But you guys are like, just in general, you guys are all, and I know all three of you guys, and the fact of the matter is,
sorry about that, by the way.
Yeah, I know, the freaking drummer, man. No, what do you call it? So the fact of the matter is, you guys are all really, really, outgoing guys. You're happy. You're out there. There's no reason that you shouldn't be branding your name every goddamn place you can. So the fact of the matter is, if you're doing, and I've told you this before, if you're doing something with kids, you should be damn well proud of it, even if you're not using the ZO2 brand, but you should be.
Well, now we're combining. What the idea is to combine the brand,
right?
To make ZO2 and Zebra almost like the way you're combining, like this. You have the comic book,
right?
And you're a wrestler. But you tie it in somehow, and you're acting like they technically are three different things. One is wrestling, one is acting, one is comics. But if you are tying them in because of the idea of who you are,
right?
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Brimstone.
Right.
So for us,
it's a brand.
We're trying to take it. What I say now is from a band to a brand.
Exactly.
And now it's like, those three guys, whether it's the Paulie Z show, which this is part of it, right? It doesn't matter that this is a podcast. It matters that it's me doing the podcast, because whoever's fans of us, they're going to be fans of, like, a fan of Brimstone is going to be a fan of anything you do.
Well, and hopefully.
Right. But that wasn't always the case. I think that's more of a modern mentality with the internet, because I think now with, think about before websites and things like that. It was like you were either a rock star or an actor or a like it was. You picked one thing and you did it.
Well, there aren't too many people that are like us now anyway. I mean, you're talking a lot of people just do music or just wrestle or just do I mean,
I think the more successful people, though, are multi-talented. I mean, when you think about someone like, Dee Snider or
Gene
Dave
Simmons.
Yeah, Dave Navarro, or even the newer people. I mean, those guys obviously.
Tommy Lee.
But I'm saying, let's say even some of the younger people, when you see like people that start doing their clothing line, or they start, putting out books or cartoon, anything, like they start branching out. And I think that's kind of what we're doing. So to answer your question, now we're focusing on that.
Right.
And listen, I love it. I'm not going to hide it. I absolutely love it. It's my Clark Kent to my Superman. When I'm in ZO2 mode, lock up your wives and your sisters and stuff.
Lock up the mothers.
Yeah. And sometimes the grandmothers.
There you go.
Yeah, if they take care of themselves. So what else do you want to know on the Brimstone show? Any other questions?
What do you call it? Look, I mean, I have a couple of children's books that I'm waiting to do something with also. I wanted to get...
Me too.
Like right now I have so many different projects going on. I'm trying to wrap each one up. as we go, as opposed to trying to get everything done at once. Because the problem is, as you know, and most people that are in entertainment know, when you rely on other people to get things done, it's not getting done.
Exactly.
You have to do it yourself.
Yes. And there's only so much time you have to do it.
And it's like yesterday, perfect example. I had 3 different radio interviews, family time, and I had to film for a television pilot for NBC. So it's like, what do you do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here running like a mad person. Meanwhile, on the phone in between the driving and taking care of everything, and getting the comic book out with Marcello and finalizing certain things that we need to finalize, and then talking to my teammate in Brazil. I mean, like, you're sitting and trying to get everything done. There's just so many minutes in the goddamn day.
Isn't that part of the fun? That's what makes the lifestyle so great.
Until you get home and the baby is crying.
Right.
and you're like, shit, I need to get something done. But it's okay because she's so little. So I put her in my arms and I'm sitting there on the computer or on the phone. So,
right.
So
thank God for Bluetooth.
So, yeah, right? So it works out.
All right, well, listen, before we run out of time, sure. I want to get into the other part of this show, which is very important to me. It's very important. It's up there with it's up there with world peace.
Oh, it has to do with food, doesn't it?
It is food.
That's my favorite thing.
Are you a foodie?
A food and sex.
Yes, food and sex is the only vices I have.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's
Me
it.
too. I don't drink. I don't do drugs.
You either?
I eat like a sumbitch. That's why I got so fat. It's horrible. That's why they had to beef me up in the comic.
Yeah. Well, people ask me all the time. They're like, "How do you guys, the 3 of you, how do you stay?" Like, if you see the way I eat, you would be like, "How are you not 400 pounds?"
Stage.
Stage and lots of sex.
That's the way it is.
Yeah. And the more girl, if you have 2 girls, you burn double the calories.
That's right. Wait a minute, aren't you married?
I'm
not saying anything. I take that back.
We're talking in theory here.
I rescind that question. So anyway, food.
Yes, let's talk about food. So, basically, I wanted to ask you, I always like to ask my guests, give me an idea of like a place. I mean, you've traveled, and obviously a lot. Give me an idea of a place, if you were going to recommend to someone a particular place. Generally, it can be a chain, but I always prefer non.
Okay.
Of a place that you say, okay, this is like one of my favorite places to go, and here's what you should order.
Okay. It depends on where you are in the country or out of the country.
Let's keep it to the country. If you want to do something,
how about
in New
somewhere
York?
that's both?
Oh, sure. Go ahead.
I'm a very big barbecue guy. Matter of fact, you will actually have to come down to my house for a barbecue at some point.
Anytime.
I make unbelievable skirt steak just to die for.
Okay.
Anyway, moving on.
Wait, barbecue, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
Have you been to Hill Country?
No.
I got to take you to Hill Country.
I'll go to Hill Country.
It's like authentic Texas dry rub, and it's like my favorite. And I just went to Blue Smoke, which, you know what? I think maybe if we have time after our interview, if I can squeeze it in, I'll do a quick Blue Smoke review. But have you been there?
No.
So what kind of barbecue guy are you?
I don't
These
know.
are like the big places in New York.
No, I have never heard of that. That's crazy. Really? Well, because I do shit outside of New York.
Yeah. All right. So what? Oh, go ahead. Tell me.
Are you? And it's actually the place I'm going to say is because we're New York people. I was going to bring it up. Are you familiar with Brother Jimmy's Barbecue?
Yes.
Do you like Brother Jimmy's Barbecue?
But wait, Brother Jimmy's is not the place we went, Alex, right? Around here? What's the name?
You probably went to Smokin' Owl's.
Smokin' Owl's.
Or Famous Dave's.
Didn't love Smokin' Owl's.
I didn't care
Brother
for them
Jimmy's
either.
is a chain in New York. That's
Brother
like
Jimmy's,
2 or 3 of them, right?
They have about 3 in New York City, and they also have one in Puerto Rico.
Okay.
So when I'm out in Puerto Rico, let me tell you, there's nothing that compares to Brother Jimmy's in Puerto Rico. I don't eat guacamole. I am so far against eating guacamole. It's not even funny. My wife's been trying to get me to eat it for years. Last time we were in Puerto Rico, Brother Jimmy's, they invited me down. They said, Brim, you're in town. You need to come in. And I had my whole family with me, my extended family as well. And we went down there, and they made the guacamole. It was called Guacamole Live at the table.
Oh, yeah.
When I tell you, it was unbelievable. Oh, my God, it was amazing. So then I came back to New York City, and I was like, I told my wife, all right, we'll go down, and we'll go see, because we know, some of the people from some of the locations, and we go, all right, we'll go down there and have some Brother Jimmy's, and we went. She was so excited to get the guacamole live, and they didn't have it. It was very upsetting. But they have some phenomenal ribs.
But you know where you can go?
Unbelievable.
You know where you can go?
Where?
Dos Caminos.
I've heard of that.
They do it live.
I've heard of that.
But you got to ask now. They used to do it all the time. Now you have to request it, but they'll do it right in front of you. And it's, for me, I haven't been to Brother Jimmy's,
right.
But for me, it's the best guacamole I've ever had.
That's awesome.
So I'd be curious for you to tell me how it compares.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and I'm not a big guacamole guy. She would be the person to
so
tell
then
you.
have her. What about what kind of ribs are we talking? Is it dry rub or is it
They
wet?
have everything.
They do have
Yeah,
everything.
they have everything. And then if you want some really, really amazing Spanish food, there's a place, believe it or not, it's in Brentwood here on Long Island. It's called Casa Vieja. So it's on the corner of, I think it's Fifth Avenue or something. You know where I'm talking about.
Casa Vieja.
Brentwood, no, Washington Avenue and I think Fifth Avenue or something like that.
And what should I get?
Casa Vieja. You could get anything off the menu. It's unbelievable.
But what have you gotten?
What have I gotten?
Yeah, give me a couple.
Maduro I eat.
Right. How's it? Do they have like rotisserie chicken?
You know what? I haven't eaten that, but I think my mother-in-law does eat that. I mean, they eat there all the time. That's where I kind of got introduced to it. But I mean, I'm a big fan of. I did a lot of stuff in South America, and I've a very big name in the Latino community.
So you had the real deal.
Had the real deal. Like I used to wrestle, and the women, because they're very into their lucha libre. So they come over and they el azufre is which Brimstone in Spanish.
Right. What's lucha libre? What does that mean?
Professional wrestler.
Is that what Nacho Libre comes from?
Yes.
Oh, I thought Nacho Libre meant Nacho Book.
Nacho Book?
Yeah.
No, Nacho Libre was just a stupid name that he came up
But isn't
with.
Libre Book?
Yeah, it's like book of cheese.
So Lucha Libre,
book.
yeah, I was going to say it's Milk Book.
It's basically professional wrestling.
How does how?
Lucha is not milk, leche is.
Oh, I thought you said leche.
No.
What's lucha?
Lucha Libre.
Lucha.
Wrestle.
Oh,
Wrestle.
lucha is wrestling.
Yes.
Libre.
Luchador is
And
is
Libre
wrestler.
is what?
I don't know.
Oh, Libra is book.
Libre. Lucha Libre.
I'm going to start my own wrestling federation called
Who
Leche
freaking
Libra.
cares?
I'm going to start a wrestling federation called Leche Libra.
Look it up.
It's the milk
Leave
book.
me alone. Yeah. So anyway, moving on.
What were we talking about?
Moving on. Yeah, so I used to do all the major shows where you have thousands of people, and these women were bringing me like empanadas and maduro and
Before you went on?
chicharron, before and after.
Oh my
like,
God.
let me tell you, and then actually Marcello used to wrestle back in the day as well, and he was one of the most hated managers, on the independent circuit. And let me tell you, when he would do some shows and some of these areas, and we'd go against each other, where he would be with whoever my opponent was,
Right.
They would throw soda cans at him, beer bottles. They were so mad at him because he used to cane me every once in a while, and and it would be funny. And he'd hit me with something, and they'd start throwing shit at him. It was the most hilarious thing ever. But then after the show, they'd be bringing me food left, right, and sideways. I mean, unbelievable.
That's great.
Like authentic stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, listen, Brim. Can I call you Brim?
Absolutely.
See that's
You
the
can call me
kind of
anything.
relationship we have. Yeah. And you, I'll call you Brim. You can call me Paulie Z.
I'll call you Z.
All right, Z man.
Z man.
Well, listen, Brim. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Pleasure's all, man.
I hope you had a good time. And
Absolutely.
And isn't it nice to finally be asked professional questions? Like
Yeah,
really
well,
good questions.
I don't know
for
about
one.
professional, but there was some pretty good questions.
So would you like to real quick plug whatever websites? you have?
Absolutely.
I know you have a bunch of
I'm
them.
good at plugging. I'll only
ahead.
plug two.
Go ahead.
Okay. My official website is www.entrancetohell.com. And everybody, please check out the website for the comic book. Again, launching October 31st. It is www.theborderhounds.com. You can find me everywhere, whether it's IMDb, Wikipedia, all that crap. So just look me up.
Or Brother Jimmy's.
Or Brother Jimmy's eating at the bar.
There you go.
So, please check me out and definitely support the Border Hounds, and make sure you always support the Paulie Z Show.
Aw, that's so sweet. And congratulations again, Daddy.
Thank you very
Number
much.
3, right?
Yes, number 3.
Congratulations.
And counting. We're not going to have 20 like those freaks on that show.
All right. Well, there it is. Yay, Brimstone. All right. So I think we have a little bit more time. I think it's time for some Yo Paulie. It's been a while, and I want to see what some people have been writing. So let's see what we got here. All right. So we're going to take one from, all right, this is Benny. We've heard from Benny before, I think. Yo, Paulie, I heard your podcast with Benny Boy talking about old or young men at the gym getting undressed in the locker room. I am like you and tend to be more modest in the locker room. Believe me, it's not any more pleasant in the ladies' locker room. Slightly older ladies with, quote unquote, without a care in the world and in and out of dress, walking around holding conversations and holding court. The only thing I can think of is that at some point in their, and maybe eventually our lives, they figure what the fuck and let it all hang out. Maybe we'll get there one day too. For now, we'll just look away. Yeah, I guess so. I think it's like, it's like when driving. You ever see an old person drive? They're like, they don't give a shit. They just like do whatever they want because whatever. I live my life. It is what it is. I mean, I guess I don't know if I would ever get to that point because I feel like just thinking about my family, like my dad and my grandfather, the way they were, I just don't think that with that type of, maybe it's a Jew thing too. It could be a Jew thing. I think we're very, we got, Jewy about it. But I don't know. It could be. There could be a shyness there or whatever. I'd be curious to see, I think for me too, it's like I wouldn't want to go around and make people feel bad too. That's the thing. I've been given a gift, and I don't want to flaunt it and like make people. You know what I'm saying? Like huge nuts. Yeah. Speaking of nuts, do you know I'm allergic to cashews? All right, so here we go. This one is for Matt. How do I say this? Aranowitz. Okay. Paulie, being a huge fan of of you and Howard Stern, I really enjoyed the Sam Simon podcast. Thank you very much. I submitted your podcast to the Howard 100 News channel, and they may or may not do a story on it. Just wanted to give you a heads up. Also, that library gig was strange but awesome. It was my official ZO2 show. I guess that's the first one he saw. The old ladies dancing were extremely interesting. I'm going to post a video of Painted Lady on YouTube that I took at the show. I'll send you the link. But you said that you guys will not play Williamsburg because it's not your scene. I think you should eat those words after playing a library gig in the middle of Queens Chinatown. If that is your scene more than a Brooklyn neighborhood, then I'm very confused. Anyway, peace, Matt. All right, well, here's the thing about that. The Williamsburg scene, it isn't our scene in the sense that the kind of rock that we do is not really the clubs that are there don't book bands like our bands. I mean, we could do it. We've done it. We'd probably do okay. But I mean, it's so close to the city. We might as well just do the city. But the thing with the Queens show was we didn't know what to expect from that. So it's not like we did that saying, yeah, let's go there and try to make new fans. It was just something fun and experimental that we were asked to do by the Queens thing, and we're like, okay, yeah, why not? I didn't expect anything from that, honestly. And it turned out to be amazing. It was actually sold out. Well, it was free, so it wasn't sold out, but it was at capacity. Packed out, yeah. And I think it was 250 seats, and it was 250 people there. But it was funny because there were kids, and then there were adolescents, and then the regular ZO2 fans, but a lot of people, like he said, with a lot of older people, and a lot of Chinese people too, which when we walked on stage, I'm telling you right now, I said, this is going to suck or this is going to be awesome. And here's the thing. At the end, someone told me that there was, when I get everyone up and I was like, let me see your hands, stand up and clap. Some guy with a walker actually stood up and started clapping. So, that just it goes to show you. And I see what this guy is saying. He's saying, I guess if we can rock that, why couldn't we rock Williamsburg? And I think it's just like I said, it's just if Williamsburg wasn't so close to the city and it was a different market, yeah, I totally play it. But I like playing New York because we get all the different boroughs. And then he sends us another one. There's a second email right after. It says, FYI, the Paulie Z podcast was plugged on Stern News. Woo! Yeah, during the actual show, they also played clips from it. How awesome is that? That is fucking awesome, man. Because I love Howard Stern and... Hey now. And, just to be on, Alex, my producer extraordinaire, is jerking off right now because he's so happy. All right, here we go. This is from Emily. Yo, Paulie, we know how much you like to eat out, but I have a burning question for you. Do you cook for yourself? If so, what is your best dish? Also, are bialys a New York staple? I would like to try them because I find bagels too bready. Exactly. But I've yet to see them in Maryland. Well, here's the thing. Well, yeah, no, the truth is bialys really are a New York thing, but you can find them in other places. They're just not easy to find. You'd have to, search them out. Even, in L.A., I know there's, areas it's easy to find because there's a lot of, Jewish bakeries and stuff like that. But I don't know. Maryland, I would imagine it's probably very tough to find a bialy. But in New York, yeah, it's very easy. It's a total New York East Coast Jew thing. And I agree. I think it heads and tails better than a bagel. I would have a bialy over a bagel anytime. Less bread. Actual better taste because of the onion and garlic in it, and I just think better texture. I think bagels to me are just, I love a bagel, but I think the bialy is much better. So yes, the question, to answer your question, I do cook, and one of my better dishes is salmon. I make a great salmon, broiled salmon. It's very, very good. The way I spice it and the way I cook it so that just the texture and it tastes great. And I make killer scrambled eggs because my grandfather gave me his recipe for scrambled eggs, which is very simple, but there's a technique. It's all about taking it off early. You got to have the balls to take it off when it still looks like it's not done. That's the secret to scrambled eggs. People don't realize that because it continues cooking. The pan is hot and the oxygen promotes heat. So if you let it go until it looks like, same thing with meat, if you let it go until it looks like it's done, you take it off, it's still cooking, it's overdone. Overdone. I can't do it. So I make a killer, and if you want to throw a little Jewish spice into it, not literally a spice, but just like a little, it's called matzah brei. So it's basically scrambled eggs, but with matzah. And the trick to that is you got to wet the matzah first. So the matzah becomes a little moist. So you wet it a little bit, you crumble it, put it in the scrambled eggs, and that is delicious. So yeah, I got some tricks up my sleeve. And one more. This one's for Robert, and he says, no question, just cool Dolly Rots interview equals coolest band in Los Angeles. I'll try and see your band and say hi, or hope to catch you and the Dolly Rots. Crank it loud, Robert. Okay, so that's a Dolly Rots fan right there. I'm glad we were able to get some of their fans to listen to the show, and hopefully some of my fans and the ZO2 fans will check the Dolly Rots out, and maybe one day we will play together. I actually liked the stuff a lot. I thought it was really cool and very rocking in that punk way. I was never a punk guy, but if it's done right, I think it's great, and I think they do a great job of it. So, all right, that's it for Yo Paulie, and I think, let's see, Alex, do I have time to go through a real quick Blue Smoke review? I got 4 minutes. All right. He gave me 4 minutes. Here's my thing with Blue Smoke. Now, I'm just going to start off by saying I still like Hill Country better. That's my first thing. Wait, let me pull it up on my iPhone here. Okay. Blue Smoke. Where is it? That would be on the B, right? Okay. There you go. All right. So I still think Hill Country is overall better, but there's some things here that are amazing. The pulled pork. Let's start with that. Pulled pork, Paulie. The pulled pork is, and I'm on record right now, for the record, the best pulled pork I've ever had. That's a statement right there, a fact. That is unbelievable pulled pork. It was so moist, and it wasn't overly doused in the sauce. You know what I mean? It wasn't too much. Sometimes pulled pork, a lot of times it's just too much sauce or too much flavor. Like this was just really good, soft, smoked, and I was very impressed. The marbled brisket was excellent. I still think the Hill Country moist brisket is a little bit better, but the difference is this marbled brisket from Blue Smoke is not as greasy, so you can eat more of it. You know what I mean? Like the other one is so heavy that you can't take so much of it. The beef ribs were great. The Kansas City ribs were great. Oh, you know what was awesome? I don't have it a lot, but the guy I was with ordered it for me. Deviled eggs. I'm not a deviled egg guy, but these deviled eggs were amazing. Unbelievable. And I didn't know what it was, but they take the yolk and mix it with mayo and some other stuff, and then they put it back in. Yeah, that's great. So I would definitely get that. The Texas Lynx sausage was good. The cream spinach was good. The chicken was really good, too. I mean, chicken you think is basic, but here's the funny thing. I don't like Hill Country chicken. I would never order their regular chicken. The beer can game hen is outrageous, but their regular chicken, like just their barbecue baked chicken, very boring for me. It's for the birds. Right? Don't make jokes, Alex, all right? Because then they think it's my stupid joke because they can't hear you. That was his joke, and it was stupid. All right. And then as far as he's having an asthma attack over there. And as far as dessert, the key lime pie was great. The strawberry shortcake was really good. And the peanut butter and jelly cupcake was good. Not nearly as good as Hill Country. Again, Hill Country's was much better. But overall, I feel like Blue Smoke is a little subtler. Like, it's really good, but Hill Country is just got that extra that extra flavor. But it's so strong and such a heavy flavor that there's only so much you can have of it. Like, you can get sick if you eat too much at Hill Country. Whereas I feel like Blue Smoke, it's you can eat more of it. It's not as intense, but very close as far as quality. And then the only things I didn't like, The Memphis ribs I thought were a waste. It was kind of dry, very dry. And the mac and cheese was, I mean, I don't know how you screw up mac and cheese, but it was pretty boring. I didn't love it. So there you go. So I'm so happy that I finally got to go to the Blue Smoke because I hear about it all the time. And maybe me and Brimstone one day will take a little barbecue tour of the city. We'll just see what's so far, I got to say, so far, Hill Country for me is still the best. I think Daisy Mays would be second. Maybe Blue Smoke and then Virgil's. But there's other ones. Maybe we'll do Brother Jimmy's together. All right, so anyway, that wraps up episode 41. And I'd like to thank Brim for being on the show and Marcello, his writer, for calling in. If you want to email me, more emails, go to, you can email me at yopaulie@thepaulieZshow.com. The website, of course, is thepaulieZshow.com. And I always find the easiest way to get the podcast is just to go on iTunes and subscribe to it. It's free. You can get all the episodes there. And also, zo2.com is the website for my band. And thezbrothers.com, I should probably start mentioning from now on, too. If you guys want to check out our kids' band, that's thezbrothers.com. And I think, what else am I forgetting? Oh, the Twitter. That was the other one. And my Twitter, which is twitter.com/zo2paulie. All right, so guys, thank you again for a great podcast. I'll see you next time. Later.